couple of ideas. I guess probably Monday's going to be a repeat of yesterday, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. In Boca, they don't do the two main shuls here don't do slichas. Yeah. I don't ask. Go to page Kuf Mem Zayin. There's just something I want to point out. Did you happen to come up with that little blue book by any chance?
I have it.
Okay, I wanted to send you something in Skype. Like in case you didn't have it, I was going to send you a picture. It turns out Skype has been discontinued.
So, but they have it something else now.
Did you try it?
Yeah, it works the same as Skype. It's called Teams.
Yeah, I saw that. Okay, I have to find it.
It even moves over all your data from Skype.
Well, that's lovely. Okay, I saw that. So let's look at this first, and then we'll go. Let's see if we can look at that Tamuna.
Okay, I'll get it.
Okay.
I have it.
Okay, so on page 128 is that Tamuna. There's actually 3-4 of them. I wanted to just go on page Kuf Mem Zayin. There's just I think this is an important idea to fix because we go to say these things in the right column in the bottom, the tiv, the second line. Just a little phrase. Is kavona zu he keneged kavonas havlos adomin. So he wants to say that this is the same idea as bringing the havlos adomin. The domim is a revua of Ekya. This is not a revua of Ekya. It's a different letter of Ekya. And the Inyan here is what? What is Ekya? Ekya is a lavush, which brings you right back into the same question that we had way back when. Is that why would you deliver the Ekya when it's, it doesn't have any, there's nothing inside of it. It's just the lavush. But he did answer that, and he said that this is like preliminary. I think that's the way I took it. It's like preliminary. The actual release of all of the chasadim and the gevuros, which are being mavle, is actually going to take place when you count the SEFIRAH, when you say the SEFIRAH. That's the way I took their explanation. But at any rate, let's just look at this. Today we're on the 26th day. Now, you're in the middle. You have like 1, 2, 3 different things that he says, which we haven't discussed. Well, let's discuss the Ekya. So he has, and all I'm doing is just looking at it. That's all. I don't have any genius to just point this out. He said we're on the letter Hey. Notice that I notice. Let's see how it's menukad. So it's actually the sound of the letter Hey. Maybe that's what it is. And then, but then the next one, then you go down to, now why this is in, I'm not sure, but he says that the Ekya comes along with a ma and a ben. Or it's going to ma and ben, I don't know. We don't have an explanation, but then he shows it again. But here, once again, and I see that they're consistent in all of the sections, because these are like, they're 49 sections, and each one of them is in a column. Well, the columns, the vowels, the menukade, the kudos are all the same, but they're not the one. Here's one. So the first one is yode. So this is leading with a. I guess I don't know. No, I don't say. There are 3 segels here in this, but that's all. I'm just pointing it out. I don't know what to do with it. That was the ma of. Excuse me. Yeah, was ma. The ma, the letter, it's actually 2 letters because he has it sounded out because it's ma. I guess it's ma. It's got to be 45. So that's ma, and then down below it is ben, Exactly what that means, I'm not sure. The explanation for this is really quite simple. It's a havlaw. But exactly what the ma and the ben do, I don't know. Then he comes down in the next section, and he goes to mabdema, right? And he shows us the pashat, the mole, and the mole, the mole. And each one of them comes out to be, well, he could find a way to make it come out to be 49. So he has the kololim of these big ones which come at the end of the week. But say, for example, again, it's the letter Tov with a segel. That's for the mab de ma. Now, what's going on with ma? So ma, and when you're talking about a mob, you're talking about this going upwards. Okay, so the mob is just pointing out what I can see of it. Then you go down to mab de ben. Also, so we're bringing up ma and ben. We're bringing them up. I don't know what's going on here. If this is talking about the 320 that we mentioned, and we'll go over it again to try to get that idea real straight. But once again, we have one particular letter, and in this particular, these two series, you also have the letter Dalet. It's just not like working with the what we call it, the Miloi, just the plain Miloi. This is the Miloi, and so he spells that out. So we're back to another Hey with a Segel. On the next page, again, this could be why these are chosen or what they actually do, but there are 1, 2, 3, 4 different sets of phrases that he says that each one of these has to do with a particular day. And I'm just going to assume that what he's saying about the olives, the ekyas, is the same for all of these. That what they accomplish, I haven't seen. So I see that what they are, but there is some kind of law that's going on in that. So I just wanted to go over that with you. And if we have an audience, we don't have a big audience for these shiurim, but that wanted to see it. We get, sometimes we got 19 people listen to one of the ones on Pesach at the beginning, and after that, it's a few people. That's it. Let's go. Let me see. I was supposed to mark this better, but I didn't. Okay, I had another question. Okay, I think, let's see, would it be? Okay, that's not it. Let's try Kuf Mem Test, reading at the top, see if I'm wasting time, so I didn't mark this the way I wanted it. On Kuf Mem Test, at the top, he said, Yemeha Omer and Bebechin Dinim Gevuros, Vehin Inin Shak Dinim, and Oadim, this is where we're at now. Vehin Begematria, he says, Omer, we said that before, Vehine Shorish Kol Devarim, Heim Elo Hashach Dinim. These are the 320 dinim, and we spent some time looking at this. That's what we have to do. Now, what I was looking for was there was a place here where he said that your kavana is to be mashpia, the makifim and the penimim. So, trying to understand, we've been told that all that really reaches their anpin at this stage is the makif. So why did he say both? So let me see if I can run into it. We'll just read across the top and see if I run into it. So he said, so there are different channels which are gevuros. Call nesiv kolom ma'ases spheros, and there you have the number shach. Go on. He said, okay, so I didn't get to that place. I wanted to show you I could do better as far as marking where I'm going if I'm moving around like this. So I'll try to do that better. But here we're getting back into this issue. What does it say there? The Butzinah de Kardonuta, okay, which I think we want to say that this is the Gevura, maybe, of Atek. Batash b'machshava, Ilua. it strikes the upper machshava of the nitzutzim, and as a result of that striking, as we see always this is the lashon yichud actually, zarek l'shach ivor, which I think means passageways. V'heim soda shlosha v'shnayim nesivas chochma. This is that business, that phrase, the 32 nesivas chochma. Kiba machshava chihuvro elo hashach nitzutzim. Because in this concept of the machshava, now when I was just reading this, I'm thinking, well, what's he saying here about me? Let's say, for example, I want to be ma'ala nitzutz. I want to be ma'ala nitzutz. But malaman, that's the right phrase. So he says, because in the thought, you can tell what the thought is differently. Maybe we can analyze a little bit. So here, these actually, you're talking about 32 different kinds of contractions which cause the shefa of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu to flow downwards. These are the 32, the famous 32 nesivas chochma. Kulam din mishem Elokim, and all of them are dinim. And the din comes in this name Elokim, which we say is done 332 times, and each time, I guess he would be saying that in each inside of each Elokim, there's 10 Elokims. Could be he's saying that. So now it going for chochma into bina. Then in bina it becomes 50 gates. Once again, gates are portals or entryways or passageways. And what are these? These are the 5 gevuros called achas kolola ma'aser, and each one of them has 10 in it. Now, so he has a piece here. I think it's number pei hey down below, and we'll read the light print. How are we doing time-wise? Since I really lose track of the time here. He says, I'll just, so light print. Hashach nitzutz in the parts of Chochmah nirmazu b'sefer Zohar, so it's hinted at in the Zohar. B'zel lashon haZohar shel these words, Reisha shirusa de hamanusa, so the Reisha, the head, or the beginning, like something like that, or the head of the beginning of this concept of Amunah. Go machshava, it was inside of the thought of machshava. Batas Butzinah the Kardonuta. The Butzinah the Kardonuta strikes it, the solid go machshava, and it leaves, or something comes out of this place called machshava, va'af netzutzim, and it brings out sparks. Netzitzim zarek leklas man, so these sparks, or they spark, sent out the klas mea ve'esrim Iyar to the 320 different passageways. So he says, so interesting, that's the language of the Zohar. So he says, the v'gedei levoyer zos nakning the voyer as seder chatikun hana'asa bekelim. So let's talk about this, the tikkun that takes place in the kelim. What are the kelim? So first of all, we had different ways that we got to the number 320, which we're going to be discussing. Shehem chashach dinim, the 320 dinim. Those are the broken kelim. Bizman tikkunim, chelik mechem nesaken kvar ba'olam hatikun be'ez brias ha'olam. So he says there's a portion of them, I'm not sure I know this, is properly built, at the time of the world being created. Behelkum nosa the histaken b'shis alfishnin, and the rest we're working on. So let's just give me a second here to go back of what he said. He says, "Chelik mechem nesakem kavar ba'olam hatikun." So I'm assuming that what he means is that at the time of the olam hatikun, we're in a world and it's working, and we have a maskala, and that's the way things go. That's the way I'm looking at it. Is that the basic formation of the 3 lines is mesukun to a certain extent at the beginning. So that's what I think. Okay, it's just an opinion, so anyway. So we see that in some sense that there is a setup already. But then the rest of them has to be over what we're working on. Shabakal yom v'yom, that every single day, there are different portions of them that are rebuilt by doing our mitzvahs. of the law. Now he's going to get into exactly how this works as we go forward. A second. Hold on. He said tequila. Olam chelke hashak. So to begin with, goes up or enters in, I'm not sure, chelke hashach, some portion of the shehagia ke'ez zman hatitikunim that came at the time of the original tikkun. It goes up laman, lepartzufim elyonim. So this is a big deal. So the aman is like the basic fundamental tool that we have, the Jewish people have, to bring bracha into the world. Because this man causes that yichud to go all the way up to the very top that we could talk about. Which we said before was a big chiddush for me, that the ma chadash is going to be a din, but it's going to be a sweetened din with the mansapach, that kind of idea there. Chelki Shem Ma Hanisaknim as a Kalim, which is the ability to be able to do that, became Tesha Spheres the Ben. Also the 9 spheres of Ben. I'm not sure what he meant by that, why the 9 spheres of Ben, but let's say it's a Ben, if you have an Amilui, there's 9 letters. I'm not sure what he meant. For all parts of as Chelki HaKalim and Nishvarim, so every parts of then, where we get parts of here, but we have a parts of then, is involved in the refining as chelki hakelim hanishbarim, the portions of the kelim that were broken. V'chelki shem ma hashayachim olav amasaknem osam, as amasaken osam. So that actually, I should read it again because to me it didn't sink in so good. That's the chart. This is the ma that we're talking about, the ma and the ben. We're bringing the ma and the ben now. The ma and the ben, let me see what he says. The call parts of, every parts of. Now, where these partsufim come from? Is he talking about the partsufim of Itzilus? I guess he is. The partsufim of Eric Anpin. What's he talking about? But anyway, he says, every partsuf is responsible, or does, in fact, mevarer as chelki hakelim and nishbarim, its own portions. Every portion brings up the broken portion, and also the chelki shem ma hashaychem alav mesaken osam. So the ma went down into olamos bia, attached itself in the ways that if we wanted to go back in Shar Atek, we could start looking at that again. He says shem ma hashayachim alav mesaken osam. So it was down there building them up. And so if it's not shaykh, so in other words, somehow the ma that goes with Kesser, say for example, is going to go down, is going to pull up a certain amount of this kedusha that's trapped down there, and it's going to be the same thing if it doesn't. There are certain aspects that the ma is not able to reach in that level. It'll go down to a further level and pull those up, or keep trying, keep going. It's the ma is like very persistent. The ma hadash very persistent according to this. So it keeps going. The parts of atachton, when you get down to the bottom, then same thing. Those parts of olam atzilus or olam atikun, the tikkun, that need to be brought back up, they go all the way through all of the different partsufim, all of the different spheros, all of the different broken kalim, trying to find the right word here. And the parts of and that's the way that it goes. It goes down as a big, sounds to me like it goes down as a big bundle of energy, but that energy actually has parts to it, maybe 320 parts. And so it goes down, and now it's going to bring up to 320, and it's a repos of that. And so going back to that chart again in my mind, he says, first of all, you have to bring down the Akia. So the Akia is Levush. But I'm trying to make sense out of it, but I haven't got it quite yet. So at any rate, sharp parts of Shetachta became hollow, and then as they go on. V'ata nachso the vire as Divrei Zohar. So let's go back and let's translate the Zohar, he says. Reisha shirusa de mehunusa. Reishis, the beginning, is haschala shal partsufi olam atzilus anikra amuna. Okay, so now we're saying like this. This is the way I see it. There is this amuna which exists in Panemius, which is not part of Bia. And this is constantly drawing towards itself the pieces that are not united and bring them back to itself. Reshis haschalas shal partzufi olam atzilus anikra amuna, that atzilus is called amuna. What's pshat here in amuna? How does amuna work on this? Is that it's going to get these broken pieces back. That's my answer to that. At least it's an answer. May not be a great one. Shall parts of olam atzilus anikra amuna. It's called amuna because it faithfully, and this is an important thing for us, Hashem never stops trying to reach us. He never stops trying. If he can't reach us on the level that we're at, he'll go to another level and find something else. But we have now kolonim, and we have yeshivos, and Baruch Hashem, we have all of this trying. Who parts of Erik Anpin, and this is the parts of Erik Anpin, which is also known as Amuna. So he's telling you a little bit of pshat in the what would you say, in the keser of Erik Anpin, that is its goal. His goal is ultimately to reach down to the parts that are broken and bring them back. So he says, where does he take them? So now it's Erik Anpin. Let's look at the Rosh of Erik Anpin. He puts it inside of the Machshava. Hanatoch amochas dimo. Okay, so now we're getting a little more specific. When he said a Machshava, I thought he was talking about my mind. But actually my mind and the mind of Erik Anpin are really, the truth is, it's only separated from my point of view. From Erik Anpin's point of view, I belong to Erik Anpin, I'm a part of Erik Anpin, like that. So that's what I thought. But he's saying, look at it, it's just the Mochas Dimo. This is part of the brain of Erik Anpin to Erik Anpin. Batosh Hachsab Beso the Yichud, it's Butzinah the Kardonuta, Shehud Hagavura the Atik. So this is what's going on in the Gevura the Atik Amaluveshes Besocha, which is clothed inside of the Mocha, goes inside of the Mochas Dimo, Gnoide. The Chochmah Arich Anpin Malveshes al Gevura the Atik. He says that's a fact. It's a fact. The Salig Go Machshava. Now what does this mean? It leaves that place. Va'al Yedei Zeh. Aloha berurim, the berurim continue to go up. Shalom malachim shehem meshach nitzutzim. It pulls them up. Let's say, as a result of this striking, the salig b'makshava v'al yedeza aloha berurim shalom malachim shehem meshach nitzutzim. V'nizbardacha v'chalokim ashayachem l'tikum partzufi abba ve'ima, and it does that. Now, I'm not sure I really understand why he said that, but he did. In other words, he's building from the top down. You're making more channels through the we're always trying to think it's called the Chochmas Dimoah because it's closed. So how does it get out? But at any rate, it does get out because of this striking he's talking about. I think that we learned that I thought that we learned the SEFIRAH Tzniuta that actually doesn't go down. It goes out through the top of the head, back down through the white places and the hairs. I thought we might have learned that. Any rate, how's it get out? But it does. Because Abba is going to be the next parts of, going to be on the right side, let's say, of the, it's right around the neck, the shoulders of Erik Anpin. Va'ima, and on the left side. And it makes more sparks. It makes sparks. So there's the idea now. Building downwards. He's really fleshing it out. He said, first, the most choice, let's say, of the Birurim. Why would be most choice? Because they're in the Rosh. They're going to hit Rabbi and Ima, they're going to make them. Should be called Nitzos Mahashach, because from every single spark that comes from these 320, these 20 are up there making sparks. So he spells it all a little better for us. And the rest of them remain as basulas, like they're sigin, and they're pushed down. So now you get, this really sounds a little bit like the beginning of Shar Anikudim, where depending on your relationship, to the Achap over there, how strong you are down below. So here he is, a basula besod sigin. Now the sigin gets pushed down. And it sits in zarak latlas me'av esrim ivor. And then so you see that these sparks actually are passages of light. Just to think, analyze what these sparks could be. He says latlas me'av esrim ivor v'zarak as osam chelki hanitzutzim, because it spells out those portions of the nitzutzim shenisha machashach that were still left over that did not make the parts of Abba ve'ima. And where does it go? It goes to the Tlas Me'av Esrim Ivor, the 320 different channels. That's what we're going to call it now. The Shlosh Me'av Esrim Drachim, the 320 different ways. Still the Peladik, how that works. So, at any rate, I don't see, clearly in my mind. You have the 320. The 320 is coming up, is making sparks with this Butzinah, the Kardonuta, striking the Chachmas Dimor. It's an incredible thing going on. It's all as a result of Maim Nukvin. Harikin is Barda the Rapashak Nitzutzim, and this is the bearer of the 320 Nitzutzim. V'nasevichem Partzufi Abba Ve'ima, and it makes the Partzufi Abba Ve'ima. And we still have any time? No time.
No.
Good place to stop. That was a really interesting piece. We had some good stuff going on here now. Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you for learning with me. Kol tov.